What do a legendary department store, a factory that built its own town, and the very birthplace of the world's most famous drink all have in common? The answer? They were all built by visionary Jewish families who saw a world of opportunity in Atlanta while it was still rising from the ashes. These weren't just businesses. They were empires that fundamentally reshaped the city, leaving a legacy you can still see in its streets and skyline today. From the iconic department stores that were the pulse of Atlanta's shopping scene to the sprawling factories that employed thousands, you really can't tell the city's economic story without talking about the incredible impact of its Jewish entrepreneurs. Ever wonder about the families behind these commercial giants? Theirs are stories of immigration, resilience, and a deep commitment to community that brings to life the Jewish principle of tikkun olam, the duty to help repair the world. They started out as peddlers and small shop owners, finding their footing in a city that was busy reinventing itself. And in the process, they built fortunes, but more importantly, they built a city. Today, we're counting down the 10 biggest Jewish family businesses that left a profound mark on Atlanta, and uncovering the amazing stories behind their rise and their legacy. Number 10. Oyvej Kitchen. Kicking off our list at number 10 is a modern tale that proves the entrepreneurial fire is burning as bright as ever. It's a story that didn't start with a grand industrial plan, but with a simple, powerful craving. Imagine moving to a new city, a place packed with amazing food, only to realize a staple of your childhood, a true source of comfort, is nowhere to be found. For Liz Menon, a Manhattan transplant who landed in Atlanta around 2012, that missing piece was the niche. After years of searching and finding only sad imitations in freezer aisles, Menon decided to take matters into her own hands. This was about more than just food. It was about filling a cultural hole in her new hometown. So, in April 2019, she served her very first niche under the banner of her new business, Oyvej Kitchen. Menon's approach is a perfect showcase of how today's Jewish entrepreneurs are breathing new life into old traditions. Her niches aren't just copies of an old-world recipe. They're a creative blend, a conversation between her New York roots and her new Southern home. She has two signature varieties. First, there's the old school, a loving nod to tradition with caramelized onions and potatoes, which she often jazzes up with seasonal veggies like kohlrabi to keep things fresh. Then there's the sweet and sassy, a brilliant creation that could only happen in a place like Atlanta. This one is filled with southern sweet potato, a little ricotta cheese, and a kick of cayenne pepper. It's a niche with a southern drawl, a delicious symbol of two cultures meeting. Oyvej Kitchen represents a whole new wave of Jewish entrepreneurship in Atlanta. Sure, it's smaller than the industrial giants on our list, but its impact is just as important. It shows a smart understanding of a niche market, a passion for quality, and a creative spark that honors heritage while embracing local flavor. Liz Menon didn't just start a business. She shared a piece of her identity, found a community that was hungry for it, and added another delicious layer to Atlanta's rich Jewish story. Number 9. The General Muir. At number 9, we have a spot that isn't just a restaurant. It's the heart of a modern Jewish food empire in Atlanta, the General Muir. When it opened in January 2013, it started with a shared frustration. The founders, Chef Todd Ginsburg, Jennifer Johnson, Ben Johnson, and Shelley Sweet, looked around Atlanta and felt something essential was missing. A truly great, authentic, New York-style Jewish deli. They weren't just searching for a place that sold pastrami. They wanted the soul of the deli, that comforting, nostalgic vibe, and the amazing quality that makes it an institution. So, They built it themselves. The name, the General Muir, is steeped in personal history. It was the name of the ship that brought co-founder Jennifer Johnson's mother and grandparents, all Holocaust survivors, to America. Right away, that name grounds the restaurant in a powerful story of survival and new beginnings, themes that echo throughout the Jewish American experience. But the General Muir is no stuffy museum. It's a modern American restaurant inspired by the deli classics. You won't find a phone book-sized menu, but you will find a curated list of the essentials, all executed perfectly. The matzo ball soup is like a warm hug in a bowl, the chopped liver is rich and authentic, and the pastrami, cured right in-house, is legendary. And the founders didn't stop there. The wild success of the General Muir was the launching pad for a mini-empire. They opened TGM Bread to bake the high-quality, artisanal bread a great deli needs. Then came Fred's Meat and Bread and the Middle Eastern spot, Yalla, featured in their food hall, the Canteen. More recently, in 2023, they launched TGM Bagels, finally bringing their perfectionist approach to another Jewish food cornerstone. This isn't just a group of restaurants. It's a culinary ecosystem built on a deep respect for tradition, proving the classic Jewish deli isn't a relic of the past, but a vibrant, delicious part of Atlanta's future. Number 8. Goldberg's Bagel Company and Deli. Our number 8 spot goes to a true Atlanta institution, a name that's meant authentic New York-style bagels for over 50 years, Goldberg's Bagel Company and Deli. The story starts in 1972 with a small father and son shop called Goldberg and Son. It was a humble, traditional deli, serving just 6 kinds of boiled bagels and a super popular po' boy sandwich. Not the Louisiana seafood version, but a unique Jewish Southern creation packed with hot deli meat and cheese. For 20 years, Goldberg and Son was just a beloved local spot. But in 1992, everything changed. 2 immigrants from South Africa, Howard Aaron and Wayne Sachs, had recently moved to Atlanta. They loved the city but were homesick for the authentic Jewish cooking of their grandmothers back in Johannesburg. Their search for those familiar flavors led them to the little deli on Roswell Road, where they found not just great bagels, but a golden opportunity. With Sachs's background in accounting and Aaron's in food service, they made an offer to buy the business. In December 1992, they became the new owners, renaming it Goldberg's Bagel Company and Deli, and setting out to build a delicatessen empire from a tiny 1,200 square foot shop. They started with just 4 employees and a simple promise: quality product and quality service. From that one small store, they launched an incredible expansion. Today, Goldberg's is a culinary powerhouse with 9 locations, a massive catering arm, and a commissary that supplies food for major airlines like Delta. And get this for scale. In a typical week, they go through a ton of cream cheese, 2,000 pounds of smoked salmon, and 5,000 pounds of corned beef. They bake over 15,000 bagels every single day. From a small father and son shop, Wayne Sachs and Howard Aaron built one of the city's most successful and beloved Jewish food businesses, proving that a simple bagel can become an Atlanta empire. Number 7. Alon's Bakery and Market. At number 7, we celebrate another wave of immigrant entrepreneurship that brought the flavors of European and Israeli markets to Atlanta. This is the story of Alon's Bakery and Market, founded by pastry chef Alon Balshan. His journey is all about passion, grit, and a vision for quality that Atlanta didn't even know it was craving. Alon's story starts in Israel, where he fell in love with baking in the European-style coffee shops run by Holocaust survivors. After serving in the military and attending culinary school, he knew he had to open his own bakery. In 1986, with a culinary degree and just $500 in his pocket, Alon landed in New York City. The cost of living sent him looking for opportunities elsewhere, and a random phone call led him to a bakery job in a city he'd never even heard of, Atlanta. He showed up with a one-way ticket and a backpack, and what he found wasn't some sleepy little town, but a land of opportunity. He saw a city that, at the time, had no idea what truly great bread tasted like, and he was going to be the one to show them. With his father's help, Alon's dream became a reality in 1992 when he opened the first Alon's Bakery in a tiny Virginia Highland space on a shoestring budget. He was obsessed with using only the best ingredients, from seasonal produce to the finest European chocolates. And it paid off. He knew he had a hit when he saw the same customers coming back 3 times in one day. In 2004, the bakery evolved into a full-fledged market, offering gourmet deli items, artisan cheeses, and wines, creating a one-stop shop that felt like an authentic European market. That success led to a massive second location in Dunwoody in 2008. Today, Alon's also runs a thriving wholesale business, supplying over 60 restaurants with his incredible breads and pastries. From a young immigrant with $500 to the owner of a beloved gourmet market, Alon Balshan's story shows how a new generation of Jewish entrepreneurs helped introduce a new level of culinary sophistication to Atlanta. We're halfway through our countdown, and believe me, the stories just get bigger from here. These families didn't just build businesses, they built the landmarks and legacies that define Atlanta. If you're enjoying this trip into the city's history, do us a favor and hit that subscribe button and give this video a like. It really helps us bring more stories like these to light. Now let's get back to the countdown. Number 6. Joseph Jacobs Pharmacy. Coming in at number 6 is a business that puts Atlanta's Jewish community at the very center of one of the biggest business stories of all time. We're talking about Joseph Jacobs Pharmacy, a name forever linked to the birth of Coca-Cola. Joseph Jacobs was a pioneering pharmacist and an Austrian Jewish immigrant who built a successful chain of drugstores in Atlanta in the late 1800s. In an era of small, independent shops, Jacobs was an innovator who understood the power of scale. One of his cleverest business practices was giving pennies as change. At a time when most merchants rounded up to the nearest nickel, Jacobs' use of the penny allowed for lower, more precise pricing, which customers loved. This simple tactic helped him grow his single pharmacy into a thriving chain of stores. His flagship pharmacy, located at the bustling hub of 5 Points, was more than a place to get medicine. It was a social center, with a hugely popular soda fountain that was a massive success even before its most famous invention. That history-making moment came in May 1886. A pharmacist named Dr. John Stith Pemberton had created a new brain tonic syrup in his backyard, claiming it could cure everything from headaches to hangovers. He brought his new concoction a few doors down to the most popular soda fountain in town, the one inside Jacobs Pharmacy. There, it was mixed with carbonated water and sold to the public for the first time ever, for 5 cents a glass. The drink's name, suggested by Pemberton's bookkeeper, was Coca-Cola. Jacobs Pharmacy was the launchpad for what would become the world's most recognized brand. And though Joseph Jacobs didn't quite cash in on the drink's incredible potential, he reportedly sold his share in the patent for a collection of bedpans and other supplies. His role is undeniable. His innovative drugstore provided the perfect stage for a product that would carry Atlanta's name to every corner of the globe. Number 5. Bernie the Baker. At number 5, we have a story that really gets to the heart of what it means to serve a community. It's not about a massive factory or a global brand, but about a beloved local hero who filled a crucial need with warmth, tradition, and the amazing smell of fresh baked bread. This is the story of Bernie Eidoff, known to everyone as Bernie the Baker. Bernie Eidoff grew up in an Atlanta family of what he called Heimish bakers, a Yiddish word that perfectly captures that home-style, folksy warmth. He learned his craft from the recipes passed down by his mother and grandmother. He got into the baking business not out of some grand ambition, but out of a sense of duty. In the late 1970s, Atlanta's main kosher bakery closed, leaving a huge hole in the Jewish community. Bernie felt the community deserved high-quality, kosher baked goods, and he decided to be the one to provide them. He started at the grassroots level, baking for synagogue receptions in the kitchen of Congregation Beth Jacob, and for a caterer with the Atlanta Jewish Federation. Seeing the demand, he set up a professional operation in his own basement, and his customer base exploded through word of mouth. His client list was a who's who of Atlanta's Jewish institutions, from major synagogues to big hotels like the Peachtree Plaza hosting Jewish events. His challahs were a hot commodity during the high holidays at Kroger and Publix supermarkets. In 1990, he finally opened a retail bakery in the Toco Hill Promenade, which became a beloved destination. People still talk about his apple strudel, his old-fashioned rye bread, and his black and white cookies. Though he closed the storefront in 2000 to focus on his family, the legacy of Bernie the Baker lives on as a beautiful example of a business built not on flour and sugar, but on a deep love for his community. Number 4. Fulton Bag and Cotton Mill. Now, at number 4, we arrive at a business that wasn't just a company. It was an industrial giant that literally built a piece of Atlanta. This is the story of the Fulton Bag and Cotton Mill and its founder, Jacob Elsass, a German Jewish immigrant who became a titan of Atlanta's industrial economy. Elsass's journey is a classic immigrant success story. He arrived in the United States after the Civil War and, with a sharp entrepreneurial eye, spotted a huge shortage in the Southern economy: bags for agricultural goods. Recognizing the opportunity, he moved to the railroad hub of Atlanta around 1868 to start a business. Within a few years, he was manufacturing the cloth and paper bags that the region desperately needed. The company grew so fast that by 1881, Elsass began construction on a massive new factory complex on the site of an old rolling mill destroyed during the war. This became the Fulton Bag and Cotton Mill. The scale of this place was staggering. At its peak, the mill was the largest employer in Atlanta, with a workforce of 2,600 people, making it a dominant economic force for decades. But the mill's impact went far beyond its factory walls. To house his workers, most of whom came from the Appalachian Mountains, Elsass built an entire town of small shotgun and cottage-style houses right next to the factory. This mill town, originally known as Factory Town, would eventually become one of Atlanta's most historic and unique neighborhoods, Cabbage Town. The narrow streets and distinct houses you see there today are a direct legacy of the village Jacob Elsass created. The mill's complex operations also required highly trained engineers, a need that helped spur the creation of the Georgia Institute of Technology, which Elsass championed and supported. From an industrial behemoth that drove the city's economy to the creation of an iconic neighborhood and the founding of a world-class university, the Fulton Bag and Cotton Mill is a powerful example of how one family's business could literally build a city. Number 3. The Home Depot. At number 3, we have a modern giant, a company that didn't just join an industry but completely blew it up, changing the way Americans build and fix their homes forever. This is the story of the Home Depot, founded by two of Atlanta's most influential figures, Bernie Marcus and Arthur Blank. Theirs is one of the greatest comeback stories in modern business. In the late 1970s, Marcus and Blank were executives at a home improvement chain. But in 1978, after a corporate takeover, both men were unceremoniously fired. For most people, that would have been a career-ending disaster. For Bernie Marcus and Arthur Blank, it was the spark that ignited a revolution. They had an idea for a high-volume, low-price discount model, and now they were free to build it on a scale no one had ever imagined. With the help of an investment banker, they launched the Home Depot, opening the first 2 stores in Atlanta in 1979. Their vision was to create massive warehouse superstores with an unbeatable selection and prices, but with the friendly, knowledgeable service of a small hardware store. Skeptics abounded, but the concept was an immediate, explosive success. Today, the Home Depot is the largest home improvement retailer in the world, with over 2,300 stores and nearly 500,000 employees. Just as massive as their business success is their philanthropic legacy, which is deeply rooted in their Jewish values. Bernie Marcus's mother taught him about tzedakah, the obligation of charitable giving, and Arthur Blank was inspired by his mother's belief in tikkun olam, repairing the world. The Marcus Foundation has given away over $2.7 billion to causes like medical research and Jewish education, including the $250 million gift that created the Georgia Aquarium. The Arthur M. Blank Family Foundation has granted over $1 billion to charities, transforming everything from education to the arts. The story of the Home Depot is a dual legacy, a business that reshaped American retail, and 2 founders who used their incredible success to reshape the world for the better. Number 2. Mike Levin and the hospitality industry. Our number 2 spot honors not a single company, but the immense influence of one man across an entire industry. Mike Levin is a legend in the world of hospitality, a leader whose vision has shaped some of the most recognizable hotel brands on the planet and empowered thousands of other entrepreneurs to build their own family businesses. Levin's career is a masterclass in brand building. As president and COO of Holiday Inn Worldwide, he oversaw the launch of one of the most successful hotel brands in history, Holiday Inn Express. He also served as president of Days Inn of America, helping transform it from a regional chain into a global giant. But one of Levin's most lasting contributions was born from a deep sense of justice. In the hospitality industry, he saw that many Indian American hotel owners were facing prejudice and unfair treatment. In response, he co-founded the Asian American Hotel Owners Association, or AAHOA. He started with just 12 members. Today, AAHOA is a powerhouse with over 20,000 members who collectively own more than 60% of all hotels in the United States. This organization gave a unified voice to thousands of family business owners. Of all his accomplishments, Levin has said that founding AAHOA was the most important thing he ever did, because it was simply the right thing to do. His commitment to the next generation is just as impressive. He has served as a trustee of the Marcus Foundation and was the chairman and CEO of the Georgia Aquarium. He also became the largest single donor in the history of Kennesaw State University to create the Michael A. Levin School of Management, Entrepreneurship, and Hospitality. Mike Levin's story shows how one person's leadership can create a ripple effect, building not just one business, but an entire ecosystem of entrepreneurs, leaving a permanent mark on Atlanta and the nation. Number 1. Rich's Department Store. And now, at number 1, we have the business that for generations wasn't just a store. It was the heart and soul of Atlanta. This is the story of Rich's Department Store, a Southern institution whose legacy of customer service and civic duty is still the gold standard. The story starts, like so many great American tales, with an immigrant's dream. In 1867, Morris Rich, a Jewish immigrant from Hungary, opened a small dry goods store on Whitehall Street with a $500 loan. The city was still rebuilding from the Civil War, but Rich and his brothers saw potential. As Atlanta grew, so did Rich's until 1924, when they opened their magnificent flagship store on Broad Street, a building that would be the center of downtown Atlanta retail for the next 70 years. Rich's became known as the South's greatest department store. But it was their philosophy that made them legendary. They built their empire on incredible customer service and a deep sense of civic duty. Two stories, in particular, cemented their place in Atlantans' hearts. In 1914, when a crash in cotton prices was ruining Georgia farmers, Rich's announced it would accept bales of cotton as payment for goods, taking a financial hit to help the community. Then, during the Great Depression, the city of Atlanta ran out of money to pay its school teachers and city workers. The city started issuing scrip, basically IOUs. In an incredible act of faith, Rich's announced they would accept the city's scrip at full face value for anything in the store. This decision didn't just help people buy things, it propped up the entire local economy by giving value to a nearly worthless currency. Rich's was also the center of Atlanta's cultural life, creating beloved traditions like the annual lighting of the Great Tree, which began in 1948, and the iconic Pink Pig monorail ride that thrilled generations of kids. Though the family sold the chain in 1976, and the name eventually became Macy's in 2005, the memory of Rich's is as strong as ever. It was more than a business. It was proof that a company can be a pillar of its community. For its unparalleled civic leadership and cultural impact, Rich's department store is the biggest and most influential Jewish family business in Atlanta's history. From the simple comfort of a niche at Oiveg Kitchen to the industrial power of the Fulton Bag and Cotton Mill. From the global phenomenon born at Jacob's Pharmacy to the civic-minded empire of Rich's. The stories of these 10 businesses really are the story of Atlanta itself. They are tales of resilience, of seeing a need and filling it, whether that was a need for kosher bagels, affordable 2x4s, or just a little bit of hope during a depression. These families, driven by an entrepreneurial fire and guided by the Jewish values of tzedakah and tikkun olam, did more than just build successful companies. They built neighborhoods, they anchored institutions, and they created traditions that are woven into the city's fabric. More than just businesses, they were legacies built on resilience, community, and family, and their impact is still felt all across Atlanta today. If you enjoyed this deep dive into Atlanta's incredible history, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next video. We want to hear from you. Which of these stories surprised you the most? Drop a comment below and let us know. And don't forget to check out our other videos on local history right here. Thanks for watching.